Hey guys, welcome to today's video where I am going to be sharing with you our homeschool activity plans for the holiday season. I have a lot of really great stuff planned. I'm so excited about it. I'm really looking forward to spending this kind of time with my boys. And I thought I'd share it with you guys in case you guys needed inspiration for your own homeschool routine, or even if you have kids that are able to go to school in person now, or even if they're distance learning with an actual teacher handling the curriculum, you can still add a lot of this stuff into what you guys do normally with your kids, just kind of spending time together during the holiday season. But anyhow, please, if you are interested in seeing what I have planned for my homeschoolers, let's get started. Okay, we are going to start, sorry, I'm helping with Legos while I film. There you go. We are going to start with the Thanksgiving holiday season. Now, a couple of these things don't necessarily have to do with the holiday season, but I wanted to share them with you because it's something that we're going to be focusing on and I'm really, really excited about them. But the first thing that we're going to be doing, and this is one of those things that isn't necessarily holiday themed, is a subscription letter service that I've recently purchased for my boys called Letters from Afar. It's in the mail, it's on its way. I'm really, really excited about it. It's basically a letter that arrives once a month telling you about a far off place. Our family in particular, we're really big into travel. We try to take trips with the boys at minimum, I would say 3 times a year. Obviously, we haven't really been able to do our normal traveling routine. We finally were able to get away up to the Monterey Bay area last weekend, and it was a joy to be back there. And obviously we kept social distancing practices in place, but normally we get out there and we like to go and do and see, and we haven't been able to do that lately. So I thought this would be a kind of cool way to introduce the subject of travel back into our daily routines. Well, back into our routines, and maybe kind of inspire us to take a trip when we are able to travel more freely. I'm really, really excited about this. There are a number of different letter subscription topics that you can choose from. There's a bunch of companies that actually do it. I just chose this one because this is the one that spoke to me. But there's one called Charm Letters, I believe. There's one for baking and cooking. There is one that has to do with animals and kind of adventures, meeting different creatures, things like that. So they're really, really interesting, and they average between $6 and $8 a month. The one that I chose is $6 a month. I purchased a 6-month subscription just because I'm not sure how successful this endeavor will be. I don't know if they will like it or not. And I didn't want to buy a whole year and just kind of be like, oh, they hate this. So this is definitely an experiment for me, and you never know with kids what's gonna kind of tickle their fancy or not. But the great thing is that it is actually meant for all ages. It's meant to appeal to children all the way up through the elderly. So I thought this was really, really cool. If I like it, I might actually get one for my niece, who is 9, SJ. I might get her a different one though, something that's a little bit more tailored to her. But that is one of the things that we are going to be starting in the classroom this month. And I use classroom loosely, just so you know. We are also going to be starting a unit study of the Wampanoag tribe. Now, if you are not familiar with them, this is the actual tribe that assisted the Pilgrims when they came over on the Mayflower, landing in Plymouth. They are native to the Massachusetts area. They still exist today. And I thought it would be really, really fun to kind of shine a light for my kids on kind of a lesser known aspect. And I know that there's a lot of kind of concern on what we teach our children about Thanksgiving. And I'm a history lover, I'm a history buff, and I always want to learn about historical events and such. So I went ahead and I studied it myself, and the actual story that we are told is pretty accurate in terms of the dinner itself. Yes, the Pilgrims came over on the Mayflower. Yes, they struggled. Yes, the Wampanoag assisted them. They had a successful harvest, and the next fall after they arrived, both groups of people actually sat down and they had a dinner. It wasn't necessarily like a thankful theme, and there isn't too much documentation about it. There's really only 2 historical sources that are written that have survived to this day that we know of. And I think the thing that probably makes it so controversial is that we kind of neglect to tell that eventually these 2 groups did go to war. And another thing, it wasn't really a part of the Thanksgiving narrative or even really a big historical event until almost 200 years later. There had been some advocacy about having a national day of Thanksgiving that really didn't have anything to do with that dinner. It wasn't really part of the story. And President Lincoln really saw it as an opportunity to unify the country, because this obviously we were dealing with the Civil War, and he saw this as kind of a unifying opportunity. And that particular dinner just kind of almost accidentally got pulled into the story, and a lot of it had to do with advertising. This was a time in the United States where advertising was really, really gaining a foothold. Advertising is obviously huge in our country. We are surrounded by advertising, and they're really, really smart about the way they go about it. Incidentally, that's also how the Pledge of Allegiance came about. It was a company who sold flags that kind of pushed that, and again, it becomes a part of the American story and a cultural paradigm that kind of persists to this day. So it was kind of like happenstance, accident, and a bit of butterfly effect that this particular dinner was even a part of the Thanksgiving story, because it originally it wasn't even involved. It was kind of something that happened. A couple of people noted it down, and that was it. So if you're wondering or concerned about that aspect of Thanksgiving, I encourage you to look it up yourself and, talk to your children about it in an age-appropriate level. So I just wanted to go a little bit into that and why we were studying the Wampanoag. But either way, we are going to be looking at the original tribe. Again, it still exists today. We are going to be examining their art and their traditions and a little bit of their food. And we are also going to be learning a few words in Wampanoag, and I think it's kind of an interesting and cool way to bring a little bit of history into not only our classroom, but into our Thanksgiving celebration. So we are going to be doing that. Of course, we will be doing a bunch of turkey crafts. Another thing that I brought into the classroom, and as a daily practice, we've already started it, you can see it behind me here, is our Thanksgiving tree. I recently purchased a bundle from the Wild and Free website, and I will have that link down below. It is a fantastic resource. And this was one of the activities that was suggested in the bundle, was to gather up some branches. These are from my tree. Everything here I had on hand. I didn't have to buy anything special or specific. I just trimmed some branches off my tree. My tree still has leaves on it, so I went ahead and pulled all of those off, and I cut out some leaf shapes. I got some threads, some scissors, and a Sharpie pen, and every day we sit down and talk about what we are thankful for that particular day. There are teeny tiny twinkle lights on it, and it's really pretty. And I thought this was pretty apt, obviously, for this time of year, and especially going into the Christmas season soon, where there's a lot of gift giving, there's a lot of kind of consumerism and, purchasing things. And I'm okay to an extent with that. I'm not somebody who's like, we need to have a minimalistic and absolutely spare Christmas so that we get the true meaning. Yes, I want the true meaning of Christmas involved in our Christmas holiday plans, but I also want to give gifts, and I think it's really, really fun. But I want my children to be appreciative of those gifts. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity to kind of bring that gratitude to the forefront as we start to transition into the Christmas season, so that they are grateful for the things that they have. Okay, and the last activity, we've actually just completed it. We've actually been working on writing a story that my kids kind of invented. They were playing one day and came up with these characters of Bounce Boss and Danger Boy, and they made a story about it, and I wrote it down, and they don't really know it yet, but this is transitioning into Christmas now. I have been illustrating it poorly, I might add. I'm not like an expert drawer, but I did put it to paper and colored it, and I uploaded it onto a website, and I will be binding it like an actual book so that in our library there will be a book that they've written themselves. I'm so excited about this idea, and that will be waiting under the tree for them. Okay, now on to our December Christmas-oriented plans. Of course, we are going to be doing Christmas crafts. I have a really great ornament craft, also an idea that I got from the bundle that I purchased from Wild and Free. And again, I will link that website below. We will, of course, be doing some Christmas letters and, of course, Christmas cards. We are unfortunately unable to connect with all of the people that we usually connect with during this time of year. So along with our typical Christmas card, we are also going to be including some letters that we are writing to particular people so that we can maintain some sort of familial connection during this very strange, odd time. Along with that, we are going to be doing a lot of homemade Christmas gifts here in the classroom. I'm a big believer in creativity and, you know, kind of getting your hands in there and making things. So we will be doing that as well. And I think the boys are really going to enjoy that. They like making things for like the other kids' birthdays. My oldest in particular likes making something special specifically for them. So I think they're both going to get a big kick out of that. And then finally, we are going to be doing some Christmas theme units here in our humble classroom. We are going to be doing a unit on the Nutcracker where we examine not only the original story, of course, the famous ballet. We will be looking at Tchaikovsky and the two choreographers whose names have totally slipped my mind. They're Russian, so I can't really remember them. At least I think they're Russian. I haven't fully written the curriculum yet, but we are going to be examining them. We will be doing some Nutcracker crafts. We will be looking at the history of Nutcrackers. We actually have Nutcrackers that belonged to my husband as a child, and we will be examining them. And we will also actually be looking at a little bit of ballet. We have a subscription to Masterclass, and Misty Copeland, who is the famous American ballerina, has a masterclass with a beginning introduction into ballet. So we're going to be doing that as well, and I think that's really, really cool. And of course, we will be watching the Nutcracker Suite and listening to the music during our classroom time. The second unit we're going to be doing is Christmas Around the World. This one's pretty self-explanatory. We are going to be looking at various traditions from different countries, their food, their versions of Santa Claus, their Christmas traditions and symbols. And hopefully we'll get some tasty treats out of it. We're going to be doing a lot of cooking that week because I do want to try making various recipes from around the world to celebrate the Christmas holiday. And then in our last unit, we are going to be examining two kind of Christmas classics, modern ones, I would say. We are going to be examining Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and of course, I'm a huge fan of the Peanuts. We will be looking at A Charlie Brown Christmas as well. I have both of the books. We are going to be looking at Dr. Seuss and Charles Schulz, and kind of doing a lot of crafts that are centered on those two particular little pieces of Americana right there, and I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and my kids love The Grinch and they love Charlie Brown, but The Grinch in particular we've been watching a lot of lately. So it'll be kind of nice to kind of introduce it as a school subject that we can kind of examine. And then we will also be decorating the classroom. They picked the theme and they chose Whoville, so it's kind of perfect. But again, that won't be happening until December. Okay guys, that about wraps it up for the topic of this video. But do stay tuned to my channel. I have a lot of fun holiday content coming up. I'm going to be sharing with you a Christmas haul that I have. Obviously I can't film it right now, so I will be filming it hopefully tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow night. I am going to be sharing with you some Advent stuff. We are going to be doing Advent here. Each of us has a calendar. I myself have two. And I'm really looking forward to that, and we can talk a little bit about Advent and the traditions around it, but also try some delicious wine and cheese. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And then I probably am going to vlog for Thanksgiving as I do my prep and, you know, making menu planning and all of that stuff. If you are interested, I do have last year's content where I shared with you how I prepped, how I organized, and then I vlogged the day before and the day of Thanksgiving. I probably will be doing that again, but of course, if you need inspiration, or maybe it's your first time hosting, or you've never done it on your own and you have to social distance, you know, what have you. I do have a holiday playlist that features how I prep, how I organize, all of that jazz, and I will have it linked up here if you are interested. But I still have a lot of really, really fun content planned. I'm looking forward to this entire season and just kind of experiencing the joy of this time of year. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys have some homeschool, or even if you don't do homeschool and you just have activities that you always like to do with your children, please leave a comment down below. I'm always looking for inspiration and ideas, and I think other moms are too. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful and safe holiday, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.